I'm going to show you the 5 cultural traps you need to avoid in order to scale your team remotely. And look, I've hired almost 2,000 remote team members for almost 1,000 companies, and I've learned this the hard way. Talent alone doesn't build great teams. Culture does. And if you get it wrong, they'll quietly check out, stop caring, and start looking for the next job while smiling at you in Slack and sending you gifts. In this video, I'm breaking down the 5 hidden culture killers that ruin remote teams, and more importantly, how to fix them before it's too late. Let's get into it. Trap 1, no purpose equals no loyalty. Ever wonder why your remote team treats tasks like chores instead of missions? Well, that's because they don't know why they're doing the work. And if your team can't explain your company's mission in one sentence, you've already lost them. Remote teams don't just need a to-do list, they need a reason to care. You want to fix this by making the mission a part of the daily conversation, not just a slide in the onboarding nobody remembers. And how you do this is by every single department in your company, 1, must know the mission, but 2, they need to know how does their day-to-day affect that mission. And it's your job as the CEO or their manager to explain that to them, because they might be doing things that are so tedious and so repetitive that goes over their head. For example, if you're hiring cold callers and all they're doing all day is cold calling, a lot of times they forget why they even cold call in the first place. This is why it is so important for the leadership to remind them on a regular basis why they're cold calling this audience. What is the outcome that will come from cold calling, and what is the best case scenario for everybody involved, and how this cold caller can change the person's business, whether it is a product or a service you're selling, especially if you're selling something that can truly change people's lives. It is the job of the leader to enforce this and to repeat this to the point where the mission is literally a part of your day-to-day, not just a statement inside of the onboarding. Trap number 2, confusion kills culture. Here's the trap. You think flexibility equals freedom. But when roles are vague and goals are blurry, people freeze. I once had a top performer spiral because they didn't know what success looked like. They had very basic KPIs, which was book appointments, close deal. But we didn't really break down how many appointments they need, where are they getting appointments from, how do we score each appointment, how does every appointment convert into a sale, what does that process look like? We did not get into the depths of the KPI, which now we do. Now for every role, there is KPI within KPI within KPI to ultimately help us measure the exact data we need in order for us to win. If you're currently doing this, you want to make sure that your KPI is crystal clear and it's not general KPI for a beginner, especially if you have an A player in your company. And one quick tip is to create an over-delivery bonus. So we give people a commission or performance pay whenever they hit a certain metric. However, if you over-deliver on your goal, not just by 1 or 2 sales, but I'm talking about 5 or 10 extra sales, but maybe adding an extra 20 to 30K in whatever you chose, we give you a nice little bonus. Now, it's very hard to do every single month, but you're going to achieve this maybe once a quarter, maybe once every year. We want to give the opportunity for people who are working harder and are achieving more. We want to give them the ability to make more money. This is where the over-delivery bonus comes in. Trap number 3, remote teams don't die loud. They bleed quietly. It is a slow death. So you're probably flooding your team Slack, pinging them at odd hours, expecting instant replies. Meanwhile, your team is spread across 5 different time zones. They're burnt out for being always on. Guys, please remember this. Good communication doesn't mean more. It means clear. You want to define clear expectations and set response windows and make one thing clear. Without honest and consistent communication, your culture will quietly bleed out. And the truth is, guys, I am so hardcore on our communication that it is now one of our core values. If they are not communicating on a regular basis, they're out. Even if you're a top performer, we have literally fired A players in terms of their performance because they were horrible, horrendous, disgusting communicators. We didn't know where they were. They took hours to respond. They were so inconsistent. One day it was good, one week it was good. The next day I don't even know if they're here, and it slowed down our process. So while it looked good on paper because they were performing, in reality, there were so many holes they were creating without even noticing this. This is why communication is everything in the remote workspace. Because when you're working in an office, you can walk into the next office room, talk to your boss, talk to a colleague, and give them clear instructions right there in front of their face. However, if you run a remote team the way I do, I have team members in 12 different countries, 4 different time zones. It is going to go crazy if we are not all on the same page and we're not setting clear expectations about communication. This is a must for every single remote team in the world. You will break and you will die slowly if you do not have these expectations set up. Trap number 4, the silent burnout. Remote burnout doesn't look like someone breaking down and crying on Zoom. It looks like this: muted cameras, delayed replies, a slow fade in energy, inconsistent communication, and you truly don't know how this person's doing or feeling. You assume everything is fine because no one's complaining, but by the time they do complain, it's already too late. So, how you fix this? 1, you want to have regular check-ins. If you have a small team, under 8 people, you should be meeting with them, if not every day, almost every day. As you start growing and expanding and you have leadership, you want to make sure you meet with your leaders every single week, and that the leaders meet with the doers every single week, if not every day. Now, there are certain departments I do believe that need to meet every single day. For example, the sales department. Sales must meet every single day because sales is a lot about energy. There are other departments, for instance, content team, video editors, they don't need to meet every single day, right? Maybe meeting once or twice a week is sufficient because their work is here's this video, come up with different angles, come up with different transitions. How do you make this video better? But they don't need daily meetings. They will go crazy. I know this from experience. My video editor would literally stab me in the heart if I asked him to meet with me every day because he would go crazy because it's like, this is so useless. But if that same person was a sales guy, he would not have a choice because sales, whether it's appointment setters or closers or co-callers, it's all about energy. And it's energy and consistent skill. Not that the other departments don't need energy and skill, but you can edit videos when you have low energy. You can create a marketing campaign when you have low energy, but you cannot take a sales call when you have low energy, right? The prospect, on the other hand, is going to sniff that out and he's going to literally go after you. Make sure, if you're a small company, you're meeting with your teams on a regular basis. As you grow, you're meeting with your leaders. And remember, if you're meeting with people and you don't know how they're doing and how they're feeling, there's a clear gap. And it's up to you, the CEO, the leader, the manager, whatever your position is, to close that gap. And how that happens is through communication, is through being open, and it's through calling people out, and it's to have their back. It's sometimes someone is not feeling all well, not anything to do with the company, but because they're going through a divorce and their wife is taking their kids, because maybe they had a passing in their family and they haven't told you. Maybe they have someone sick in their family, they've been in the hospital. A lot of times what happens is people's day-to-day mindset and feeling and energy stems from their home life, especially when they're working remote and they're in each other's face all the time. Like, we have a lot of team members that still live with their parents, which is amazing. But a lot of times if their parents are not feeling well, or maybe they got in a spew with their parents, whatever, that carries on to their work, right? And if you create good bonds with your team where they trust you and they believe in you, they will tell you this and they'll be open about this. So that way you can actually help them and figure out a way for them to win while still feeling like this. This is very important. The only way you can catch this is by having 1, clear communication, but 2, their trust in order for them to open up and tell you this. Trap number 5, no path equals no loyalty. Your best people aren't asking for just more money. They're asking for what's next. How else can they grow? What else can they do? How else can they contribute? Because they know there are other opportunities out there. Just like there are other people out there. But if this is a true A player, if this is a true leader and someone that has the company's back, it is your job, whether you're the CEO, whether you're the manager, of creating the growth map for them and help them understand what are the next challenges, what are the next things for them to do here. This is something that we do on a monthly basis, whether it's with our leaders or with our doers. Okay, we get to break down how can they go from where they are now to where they need to get to. Where does the company need to be? What do they need to be? What does their team need to be, right? There's a lot of factors that go into growth outside of just the person themselves. For example, if the person's growing, but the company's struggling, well, there's a chance that this person's outgrown the company. That has happened to me. there's a chance on the flip side where the company outgrows the person. Both of these scenarios can happen. It is your job to be able to catch this early on and make sure that you're filling in the right roles and the right people into the right seats. Okay, this is very, very important. Please remember this. Growth isn't just about salary, it's about purpose. And people won't stay if they can't see a future with you. You can build a remote team on resume and skill sets, sure, but if you ignore culture, you'll lose them. So if you fix these 5 traps, watch what happens when your team finally has a buy-in. And here's the best part, guys. If you're looking to hire people that can come in from day one and make a difference in your company, whether it's an appointment setter or a media buyer or even a closer or a video editor, well, you want to find these people at a much faster rate, because going on Indeed and Upwork is going to waste a lot of your time. And this is exactly why we are consistently helping all sorts of businesses, 6, 7, and even 8-figure businesses, find A players around Latin America and even the world. So if you're looking to hire A players that can come into your business, make a difference, you're able to delegate them the work, you're able to save yourself time, and that time you're able to then invest into growing your business, then we can help you exactly solve this problem. So head over to remotetinos.com, schedule a call with our team, let us know exactly what you're looking for, and once we partner up, we'll get you scheduled interviews and help you hire your next Rockstar Remote team member. I'm Amir Block, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Os!